Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. In our previous episode, we ended with an epic clash for the NLCS. If we had won the game, we would have gone on. But unfortunately, we couldn't quite manage it. In particular, some of our best players kind of disappeared in the series. And ultimately, we fell short. So a new offseason begins, and we need to start making some important choices about how to build the team so that we can be a bit more successful. Our lineup is more or less set. Obviously, we prefer to have Sean Hill back. And a healthy Sean Hill will help the offense to be certain. But I think the rest of the lineup is pretty doggone good. I don't really think we need too much to add in terms of offense. I'd like a little bit more power, but I don't know where that comes from. It could just come from Mike Soto continuing to improve. If Mr. Soto can start hitting 20, 25 homers a year, that's going to help us out a little bit. We may also want to consider Ernesto Turner as our Sean Hill replacement this coming season. But the good news is the lineup is pretty set. I feel pretty good about our lineup and our chances with that. The somewhat less good news is that I'm not quite sure where we are with our pitching staff. Juan Love had a very minimal major league tryout this season, and I definitely think next season he's going to be our ace. And that's going to be a tremendous help. Victor Rios was far better than I expected, and we have him for a couple more years nice and cheap. Mike Grasham was also effective, but we don't really have that big name starting pitcher, that one guy who can take over a game, make us feel like we're in better shape. We take a look at arbitration. We're going to let Julio Mifflin walk, mostly because the man wants to get paid like an elite starter, which he isn't. He just is not an elite starter. We also want to upgrade the bench this episode. That's probably the most important thing we can accomplish this episode, is getting a much better, much deeper bench. One way or another, whether that means promoting new players, whether that means trading to strengthen our bench. Whatever we choose to do is fine, but we need to do something to make sure that if we do have injuries, that we're not as badly hurt by them. I'd also like to get some depth. Hugo Arevalo might be one of those answers. He's a really good player. And although Manny Toros kind of eternally had this slot, he doesn't really do very much with it. I don't know, maybe Arevalo is one of those guys that can really help us take over a bit more. How did the rookies on lock do? Leo Campos has definitely earned a promotion to high A ball. I feel pretty good about that. Michael Broadwater really badly struggled. I'm going to let him repeat high A. And Orlando Salgado also wasn't the best. You both seem to be stalling out a little bit, but let's not lose sight of the fact they're both 20 and 21 respectively, which means there's still a ton of room for improvement. Just so much room for improvement. Let's quickly change to rookie ball, because I think there's at least one or two guys up here that we're going to need to make some decisions about. Okay. Lokeen Katina is still incredibly raw, but I think we have to at least bump them up to at least A-ball, because otherwise their development will completely stall. Basically, really talented 20-year-olds don't really need to be in rookie ball. Xavier Roberson is way too good to be in rookie ball this season. I'm going to go ahead and take over his development too. And we're going to send him up to A-ball. Espinosa and Barrera are both so young that I'm just going to let them hang out and trust my coaches to get them promoted when they're ready. All right. 40-man roster decisions. I'm going to go and add Arevalo. One way or the other is going to be an important player for us in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and add him to the 40-man. Apparently I need to do it this way. Alex Rosado is a very interesting player, and I don't want to lose him until he's had some sort of chance to show that he might have a bit more of a future. So he's going to get on add to the 40-man as well. I'm going to trade Jacob Miller. No, I'm not. He's one of my favorite kinds of players because he can play so many different positions. But I'm deeply concerned about his bat. I think I'll put him on the 40-man, though, because I don't want to trade him yet. This still gives us plenty of other people we can add if we decide that there's a need to. But for right now, like Jose Mejia, Edwin Ulao. Martin Rubio's worth adding, too. Like, it is within his capabilities to turn into a decent starting pitcher. Just because he hasn't yet doesn't mean that he won't. So I'll go ahead and add him. And what about Jaden Jones? Jones could be potentially okay, but I am deeply concerned about his lack of good personality traits. I'm going to quickly see if I can trade him for an intriguing prospect, perhaps. At any position, really. Just someone with a little bit more upside. Jonathan Baker would certainly be a lovely addition to our offensive capabilities. It's like a really good hitter. Baker may already be the winner. I trust Soto, but if I didn't, I'd also consider that. Alex Alvarado's not a good enough hitter. I'm getting some really good options here, though, which I did not expect. I had no idea so many people would be so interested in a mediocre pitcher, but here we are. I think I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to go back and grab that left fielder. Can you show me I'm just stopping over something? I'm looking at their defense. If their defense doesn't look like it's up to snuff, then I'm not really going to take the risk on them. Yeah, Freddie Mendoza's not that impressive either. Alvarado would add to the bench in a pretty compelling way. But he's still awfully raw as a position player. But I mean, he wouldn't be a bad choice for an additional outfielder. You're a maybe, Alvarado. I think I will take Alvarado, actually. It's, no, because he's error prone. As a bench guy, that's not the end of the world, but the thing is, if he ever plays so well, we can't keep him on the bench, that's going to be deeply problematic. Very deeply problematic. Like, I know Baker can only play the corners, and he doesn't have a great arm, but he's got an elite hit tool, and he's still so freaking young that I think Baker is the better choice. Anybody else Rule 5 eligible that I don't really intend on keeping? That might be worth a decent return. Lagira is interesting. He's definitely a good hitter, but he's at best like a C plus second baseman, and I think it's honestly overrating his capabilities. He'd be actually a fairly good idea to trade as well. Let's see what Mr. Laguerre can acquire us in the prospect market. There's a much smaller market for him because I think teams do recognize his defensive limitations. Um, Pardon me. Danny Salcedo's a really good outfielder, but he can't really hit all that well. I've made worse decisions, but you know what? Let's go ahead and pick him up. I think he is interesting. What about our arbitration folks? I should be taking advantage of that as well. Does anyone want Mifflin? Can I get a prospect from Mr. Julio Mifflin? Nobody wants him, and that honestly makes sense to me. I bet Matt Hawkins won't get much of a market either, but I can but try. I might even end up bringing Hawkins back. Actually, I'm getting a market for him. That arm, though, he's only ever going to top out at second base. There's nothing wrong with that, but he is much more limited than he appears to be. Alex Segura is a little bit better. Get some nice Ajani Kennedy action. He's not an amazing pitcher, but I think he's at least an interesting arm. Let's try to get Kennedy and let's see if I could get Kennedy and Farias. If I can get both of them, I'd feel pretty happy. If I can only get one, I can only get one. That doesn't really bother me all that much, but I'd like to get greedy and get both if I could. Where did you go? There you are. He just wants some more time. Is this the Edgar Martinez? I'll submit the offer. Let me take a look at the A's. Are you being managed by that Edgar Martinez? No, this is merely a Edgar Martinez. Okay. I got excited there for a minute, but then realized Edgar Martinez is probably long dead in this timeline, what with it being 2062. Let's sim just a week, and let's see if our offer... Yes, they'll take it. Done. Very happy to make that trade. Look, Farias is low-key not a terrible catcher, and he's a good leader, which is going to make him useful. Let's quickly check out our 40-man list here. I completely missed... because you're looking at OSA. I don't trust OSA, though. I only trust Josh Williams, scouting director extraordinaire. There we go. Oh, I'm not going to worry about anyone else until after free agency has kicked off. That'll make sure that I don't have any issues there. Let's move up the awards track. Oh, Gabe Zaja. Zajac got a better deal from someone else. Really? Alright, dude. I see how you are. I still don't have my third base coach. Oh gosh, I was going to do it at the beginning of this episode, wasn't I? Oh my god, I'm looking at the A's. That's better. Okay. I'll offer Edgar Brashear a nice contract. Armstrong signed. Trujillo's thinking about it. Brashear wants more money. He can have it. Joe signed a new deal. Trujillo wants more money. Okay. I'll give you 200,000. I just signed Joe for 1 year, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Joe really confuses me as a player because while he's been decent, it seems like for him to be truly great, we need to get a lot of luck out of him. He's always going to be a relatively limited hitter. And so that's what gives me some pause to keeping him around for a lot longer. Then again, I don't really have another obvious catcher. So it might be a little bit longer before we make any final decisions here. Brashear signed. Excelente. As did Trujillo. Wonderful. I wonder if Suarez had any chance of getting Rookie of the Year. He probably didn't, but maybe. Okay, Silver Slugger from Jordan Munoz. And that's it. Oh, John Navio ended up running away with it. Okay, then. Very cool. I got Manager of the Year and Hall of Fame voting. Very, very important. Boom. I should just make a giant flex and be like, this is my entire fucking ballot. It should count for more. Braithwaite isn't that exciting. A lot of the first timers aren't that incredible. Dini Castro doesn't really do much for me. Tarth Chatton is an amazing name, but not an amazing player. I'll go for Eric Corrigan. Why not? Tim Danilov is reasonably good. I think I could see clear voting for him. Bobby Fish has 700 home runs, so I think that's a yes. I don't think you can do much to argue against that. Bill Garay wouldn't cheapen the Hall, but I'm not convinced he deserves it. But it's something to consider. I'll add him for now. Like, I don't mind him being there. I'll add in Mike Giles. Rory Gratton, an old friend of ours to be sure. Joe Justice is a Hall of Fame name, but sadly not a Hall of Fame player. People really like Danny Morales. I guess I kind of see why. Like, I'll give him a vote, but I don't think it's going to matter. Our old pal Jeff Pierce, I'll show him some love. Joe Pry's the kind of guy that'll never get in because so much of his value comes from his WAR, but I think he generally has a very good peak. People roosting to like Jose Rubio, okay. Mike Sands, sure. And Ramon Zamora, I think, is going to be the last one that I give vote to. For him, it's the fact he's got so many home runs. He's pretty much your classic all-peak guy. But I mean, 7 All-Stars, an MVP, Rookie of the Year, and a couple of rings is a pretty good career. Borderline Hall of Famer. Oh, Randy Simmons is definitely a Hall of Famer. I almost missed that. 80 WAR as a starting pitcher is pretty insane in this era. What's the name of that third baseman? Fisher. Is he the new home run leader? Leader Boards. No, he is 4th all time in home runs, but that's still pretty crazy. I love how most of this is just older as newer players, almost exclusively. Jorge Mesquita has a fair chance at challenging for the all-time home run crown. He's going to get 700 this season. Alright, I'm going to do something real quick. Okay, I know what I was going to do real quick. Barry Bonds should never have not been in the Hall of Fame. Same with Roger Clemens. I don't feel strong enough about any of the steroid candidates to keep him out, but yeah, they both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't give a shit how grumpy you want to get about allegedly using steroids. The fact is that they were both Hall of Famers before they were even considered it, so yeah, just calm down. Anyway. Hopefully Pozo makes it, though. That'd be really cool. Danny Gutierrez is thoroughly unremarkable. No, thank you. Okay, so free agency has started. What do we want to accomplish this offseason? We want to strengthen the bench. That's a given. We could probably use one starting pitcher and potentially one reliever. Let us very quickly here change to our scouting. Thank you. Yeah, look, Love and Rios are great, and Abishan might someday be great, but Grasham is already getting older, and I'd love to get at least one more starter to really seal in it. Because Jesus Calderon is fine, but he's hardly incredible. And he might actually be even better suited as a reliever. All right. So we're gonna have different bench options, but I would like to bring in a well-rounded outfielder. I think would be quite helpful. Wait, what? Why is a player this good only being asking for 1.2 million? Like, what the actual fuck? What? I'm sorry, did he like run over somebody's dog? I will absolutely offer this man. I don't even know where I'll play him, and I don't care. I will make it happen. Somehow. That's a ridiculous situation. And I'm gonna take advantage of it. Alright, we do have Nate Sinclair. If we want a front runner, he seems like he'd be a really good choice. He's a multi-time Cy Young winner. He's an Iron Man. He gives up homers, but strikes people out at redonkulous rates. I think this is the kind of guy you open up the checkbook for. Let's make it a 5-year deal, and I'd like a team option if I can get one, please. But I'll give you the rest of what you're asking. I don't even care that it would cost me a draft pick. Not even a little bit. Because that basically makes us a ridiculous rotation. With him fronting it, Love fitting in behind, and then Rios and Avishon, and then Grasham, I think we become a real threat in the pitching department. Where would I play that guy if I signed him? I genuinely don't know, but I will figure it out. I will make a position for him. I will carry 2 designated hitters if I have to. If he signs. He might not. He's probably going to realize his value is being drastically undersold, and that's fine. I would like to get another arm in the pen, another really reliable dude. Is there a quality reliever that I can have for not a whole lot of money? Paul Abraham seems like he'd be a pretty solid choice. I'm not going to make you a starter, but I will give you a role in the bullpen. I'm not giving you the rotation. I'm not guaranteeing that. Jorge Ramirez seems like he'd be a pretty fair pick. He probably also wants to be a starter, but what if he just isn't? I'm not giving you the rotation. Okay. Now, I do have the feeling that Sinclair in particular is going to get a whole lot of offers. We might have to pay a lot of money to get him. But a guy like Sinclair could be the final piece to take us back to the promised land. and bring home another World Series title. We did not get Ramirez. We did get Sinclair. Which is obviously awesome. And we'll lose a third round draft pick. Oh, fucking no. Absolutely. Yes, please. I like Mendoza a lot. Like, I don't give two shits about Bolt. Let me cut Bolt out of this deal and see if I can get somebody else. Oh, really? Getting rid of Bolt was like a big deal for you. I see. Can I still get that 4th round pick? Yeah, I'll give you Julio Vasquez. I don't mind. I was thinking just get rid of like a mediocre position player. I'm not going to give you Arevalo. I will give you Vasquez. There you go. Ramirez just wants more money. I don't have a problem giving him more money. I'm just not going to give him a spot in the rotation. I can't promise that. Then you can get fucked, dude. I will happily wait and grab a reliever later on if you're going to be like that. Would give me Jose Espino. I don't necessarily hate this deal, but I don't need another starting pitcher of that quality. I really don't. Especially not for Moreno and Servine. If you want to go to Espino that badly, I can take him, but it's going to cost you something different. Wow, you really want to just get rid of him, don't you? Yes, that makes us even better. Yes, I will definitely make this work. For anything else, put him on the 40-man. Anybody left on the Rule 5 list I want to keep. I do want at least a chance to keep Farias and Medina, so I'm going to put them both on the 40-man. And then I don't really care about anybody else that's listed here. So let's see who I might actually want in the Rule 5. I'd love to get a reliever. I think that is probably the number one position that I need. But I will take anything of interest if it's available to me when I pick. Really? Nobody wants J.D. Tyler, huh? Like, I know he hasn't really produced at a super high level of late. But I don't see anybody else that's, like, drastically better than him. I really like Juan Castro. I think he'd be a pretty talented player to have as well. Yeah, I'm actually going to pick Castro. And then if Tyler's still around, I will take him with my second Pool 5 pick. There is a very tiny part of me that wants to take a chance on Jalen White because I'm going to be able to instantly put him on the IL. And he seemed like he'd be a really good reserve outfielder, so I think I will go ahead and claim him too. Alright. I think that'll probably do it for me. We got Pagan. I don't even know what I'm going to do with you, but I will figure it out. I will figure it the fuck out. Because there's just something really bizarre about not having him on your team. Like, what is it? What more could you possibly want in a baseball player? I truly do not understand. Can I get him to take an extension? Not really, but that's fine. I mean, I could. I just want to see how he actually does before I bother with that. Like, seriously. Salgado, Pagan, Verdine, and Navio at DH, or Munoz at DH, is pretty insane. Or is it Pagan at first base? Are you shitting me? He can fucking pitch too. Not very well, but oh my gosh. That was gift wrapped. You don't find players of that caliber. Interesting. Would anybody take Hill's contract off my hands? Interesting. Like, the thing is, I don't know who I would bench if I wanted to let Pagan play every day. I'm not going to bench Salgado. And I'm not going to bench Verdine. And he can't play center, so that's fine. But then the question is, of Munoz, Navio, and Pagan, who gets benched? And it might honestly be Munoz. In all honesty. Like, for all the incredible power that Munoz has, Pagan is just better. He's got ridiculous contact on top of being a home run guy. I mean, maybe there'll be an injury in spring training and we can figure it out then, but all of a sudden, this team looks a whole lot more dangerous. The 40 man is now full, so I can't add anybody else without subtracting. I might check trading Sean Hill and just see what kind of market there is for that. Because here's the thing, Pagan is clearly better than Hill. Clearly better. And Hill's costing us a lot of money. I've got a feeling that we're going to be told to get fucked, but let's just kick the tires. Just to see. I could get Oscar Gomez, who's even more expensive, even more terrible, but at least only has 2 years left. What if I had 50% of his salary? Okay, now we're getting some much more intriguing offers. Like, getting rid of his salary is a coup in and of itself. But if we can get a genuinely useful piece, that would be pretty amazing. I love everything about Jay Jackson except for his control. Can we mitigate the risk? Can I just pay less money? Like, I know why you think it's a bad deal, right? You think it's a bad deal because it seems like we're trading a truly incredible player in Sean Hill. But the thing about Sean Hill is that his ability for average is only going to go down. He's already fragile. He's missed significant time, and you have to platoon for him. Because he's just not a very good hitter against left-handed pitching. All this combined is probably why I should have given him a giant contract in the first place. But since that is not an option, I can't go back in time. Could I get Dave Salinas? And if so, what would I have to offer you? Literally nothing. We'll accept it. Okay, I got greedy. Juan Alvarado is a pretty solid pitcher. But I'm not giving you an even better starter for him. You can take that idea and shove it up your butthole. Could I get a guy like Borboa? No, not unless I want to give you something great. Like, I know that that Mr. Fortune here doesn't love it, but I do. So we're going to make the trade. Oh, snap. Eric Corrigan also made the Hall of Fame. As a Pittsburgh Pirate. Nice. 2 more Hall of Famers. What was Manny Pozo's vote share? Only 82% is kind of disappointing, but I will take it. I'm really proud of Manny Pozo. All right. This has been a whirlwind of an off season, but I think a very welcome one. Mr. Pagan, I'd like to offer you a 4-year deal. Okay. I can talk to you again later on. That is not what I expected to happen this season, this off season, but I'm here for it. And where's the new guy? Oh, he's probably on waivers. No, he's not on waivers DFA. Where'd the new guy go? Oh, there's Jay Jackson. Look, if you want to keep him in the minors and try to make him into a starter, I have no problem with trying that. This is about opening up a roster spot for Mr. Pagan here without hurting any of our outfielders, all of whom I think have also earned a spot. But damn. Wow. Wow. I don't get it. I do not get why, in 100 quadrillion years, you would ever have a player of Pagan's capability and be like, nah, I don't want him. We'll just non-tender him. Like, I don't care if he's, like, the worst human being in recorded history. The man's gonna win us baseball games. Even increased my budget, you mad lad. Is there anything I'd want? Like, our rotation is stupid good now. It's gone from being a lack of big game experience to lots of big game experience, which I'm 100% here for. We've got Sinclair, we've got Love, we've got Espino, Grasham, Avisham, Rios. Like, we've got an embarrassment of riches now. And, well, one of them might get hurt. In fact, probably will get hurt. Okay. I still wouldn't mind another bat off the bench. But then again, Turner goes from getting regular playing time to basically playing off the bench, so it's not a terrible idea to let him have a role one way or the other. I'd love one more arm in the pen. But then again, just having Calderon in the pen does help a bit. I might wait and not make any more free agent moves until after spring training shakes out, and then I'll be in a much better position to decide where our actual weaknesses are. If I somehow don't win a World Series, or at least make the World Series, but no, let's say win the World Series this year, I genuinely don't know what else I can do. I genuinely don't know what options remain to me. Spring training begins. Plus 2 more Pittsburgh Hall of Famers. This is a good episode. Very good episode. Very good things. With some quality baseball action. Well, not actually baseball action. This is mostly just some free agency, a couple of trades, and yeah. No, I know people are going to be like, Pagan is fragile. There is an element of risk there. Agreed. Agreed. But he's better than Hill by quite a lot, and younger, and probably won't cost you $30 million to keep him. How much money did you get from San Francisco, Ramirez? You got less money. Did you get promised a starting rotation? You did. That's really what you wanted. You wanted a chance to start. I don't blame you, my dude. I respect your decision. And then Juan Love is like, oh, I can pitch, and just unlocks another level. Calderon is losing velocity, but right now he's only a bullpen guy. I love how he somehow lost contact rating, but he's got better. I don't know how that works, though. That's pretty crazy, though. Okay, Almahor losing a bunch of contact is a bit of an issue and something that's worth monitoring. Navio loses a touch. Munoz loses a touch. Okay. Cool. Anyone I'd like to invite to spring training that doesn't currently have a spring training invite? I don't think so. I'd rather have a bunch of players and figure out where they go. Let's go ahead and instantly place you on the 60-day IL, and the same for that new outfielder we got. And then we're going to go... I'm going to run a 6-man rotation, definitely. In spring training. Yep, Sinclair, Love, Rios, Gresham, Espino, and Avishon. Yeah, I need to keep that pitch count on Avishon for at least one more season. Lineups, do as you like game. Now, obviously, this amazing offseason could all go badly wrong if several important people get hurt, but Osorio is not one of them. How are we 0-10? Whatever, dude. This is all part of our plan. We're going to start losing games on purpose in spring training, so teams take us lightly. Freddie Suarez will not be eligible to start the season. That's going to involve a very interesting decision. I'm with you, Adam Wainwright. I'm with you. Also, Verdine should not be the leadoff guy, but I will get to that here in a minute. Player development. Any big changes here? JD Tyler just lost a bunch of velocity, so I'm probably just going to cut him. Medina got better. Farias got better. Okay. I'm kind of glad that Mike Iglesias is still playing in the majors. I think we did a lot to rehabilitate his career. And I hope he gets a few more home runs because he was a really important piece of our team for a short time. And I'd like to see him thrive. Just not at our expense. One more game, please. Okay. Alright, so 36 players. That is, in fact, too many players. JD Tyler, you're already gone. You can go back to the White Sox with my compliments. I presently have 15 pitchers. I'd like to drop that number to at most 13. So that means 2 pitchers gotta go. It's Rubio's definitely one. I still think Rubio's got a shot to become a starting pitcher, so I want him to get that opportunity in the minors. And Juan Camacho is clearly the worst remaining reliever, unless it's Osorio. I'm going to go a non-tender Camacho. How did I even get you? Like, how did you ever... Oh! You were on the roster for literally like 2 days. Yeah, you're going back to the minors, Camacho. I might send one more person down, but let's see how all this works out. Alright, we're going to go to 5-man rotation. And I need pitching ratings, and I need starters. So very obviously, Nate Sinclair is our new ace. No question about that. Then I think it's Love. Then Espino. And then the question becomes, who is the third starter? The fourth and fifth starter. I guess we can let Avishon go back to the bullpen for one more season. I don't like jerking him around like this, but what makes us a better team right now is Rios and Grasham in the rotation. So that means Avishon becomes the emergency starting pitcher and our long reliever. All relievers. Mike Tinch is our closer. He doesn't have a huge amount of stamina, so I don't really want to push him too hard. Fuji and Osorio are both going to be middle relievers. Of the two, I trust Osorio a bit more, so he can do some long relief if we need it. Osorio is literally only useful as a lefty killer and for no other reason. Julien, I think, steps in very nicely to be our setup guy again. He just strikes so many people out. That's good stuff. Topps is a bona fide middle reliever in his own right. And then the question becomes Calderon. I like Calderon as a long relief, middle relief. Like, I don't want Calderon to ever be the first person out of the pen. But if we have a longer game, we've seen someone to stretch it out, then I think he's a good choice. Because he's starting to lose his stuff, which means he's not striking as many people out, I don't want him playing as prominent a role. But I do think he's still a very useful pitcher for now. He might get grumpy because he wants to be a starter, but he's not starting over these options, so he can just shut the fuck up about that. Alright, we're now rocking 33 of 26. We've got to use 7 position players. I don't need 4 catchers. Farias and Medina go... No, I said Farias and Medina go right to the minors. And Medina, what the heck? All right. Jacob Miller's value is as a mega utility guy. It's not really as an everyday player. And to that end, I'm going to go ahead and send him to the minors. Who is our starting shortstop? It's not Alex Rosado. Not even a little bit. Rosado, again, is a very talented player, but he's more of a pure bench bat. So I think Rosado can go to the minors as well. Nunez is most valuable as a backup second baseman bench bat. But he's going to be on a fairly short leash. I want Castro on the roster just because I don't want to lose him yet. Al Dominguez is... Why are you even on my roster? Oh, because you play a bunch of positions. I have a weakness, guys. I have a weakness, and it's position players that can play lots of different positions. Alright, 2 more position players. Gotta go. I will send down Nunez because his only value is just being an elite power hitter at a position that doesn't usually have as much power. Arovalo is probably our opening day starting pitcher, or shortstop rather. I don't want to lose Juan Castro, but I don't want to. But I kind of have to, because I can't have only 5 outfielders or 4 outfielders. I can't. I need somebody that can play different positions and give us stability there. And right now, that's going to be Aguinaga. Unless I just use Miller in place of Aguinaga. I mean, actually, I kind of like that idea. Now, let's get Miller back and bench Aguinaga. Because up until he can start hitting more consistently, I'd rather have somebody with all the flexibilities of Miller than someone like him. Miller is also a pretty capable backup center fielder, which then gives me the flexibility to bench somebody else if I need to. I think Castro can be truly special. I don't want to lose Ernesto Turner, but I'm pretty sure that if I try to put him on waivers, I will lose him. But I also can't keep Castro. I guess I'm going to send down Toro. And that'll be our opening day lineup. Let's go ahead and get this cleared out. And clear all the depth charts. And let's start building our team. Who would be our best choice as our leadoff guy? I think it's Mike Soto. I don't mind having Verdine be the guy as long as someone like Soto's right behind him. I'm going to do Soto, then Verdine. We're going to let Soto be the leadoff guy. And then Verdine. And then we're going to go Salgado, Pagan. And then who's the better hitter right now, Munoz or Navio? It's Munoz. But Munoz plays in DH so that Navio can be our right fielder. Catching will be Joe. I like Joe batting 7th. That seems really smart to me. And I've already stated that Aravalo is going to be our starting shortstop. And oh, Almaguer. I did it again. Every season, I'm like, what do I do with Almaguer? He's not very good. And he actually is very good. He definitely deserves to be our 7th hitter over Joe and Aravalo. If you have better play discipline, I would very seriously consider batting you lead off. I'm hoping that by batting Verdine lower in the order, he'll still get quite a... No, I don't like Verdine hitting there. I love his speed. But the fact is, he doesn't get on base that frequently. He's a liability batting that high in the order. Joe wouldn't be a terrible 2-hitter. I know what I'm going to do. Soto, you're going to be hitting first. So it's going to be Salgado, Pagan, Munoz, Navio, Almaguer. And what this does is it puts Verdine in a spot where he's likely to see a couple of good pitches, but it means that our very best hitters are getting more at-bats. So that's going to be really good. Alright, next we need to set up the depth chart. Servine very clearly is going to be our backup catcher. He's going to play once every 7 days. Turner is going to back up at first base and the corners as the primary backup. No, Turner is not starting over Salgado. Don't be fucking stupid, game. And Turner is also our backup DH. Like, of the players who aren't playing regularly, he's got the bat I trust the most at the moment. So that'll be where Turner is going to be most useful. Turner is also pretty good first baseman, but he's not a better hitter than Pagan. What I might do in addition is I might go ahead and make Turner a defensive sub at first, if we're ever that desperate. Okay, backing up in the infield, we're going to have Castro as the backup at third. And he's also going to be the secondary backup at first base. Turner is our number 1 pinch hitter, followed by Castro, followed by Servine, followed by Miller. And your pinch runner is going to be the only one who can run, which is Miller. Miller backs up at second base, shortstop, and center field. And he's going to be the tertiary backup everywhere else. Tired. Okay. And Castro is the backup to the backup DH. And that'll just be a starter tired. We're asking a lot of Miller, but to be honest with you, I feel pretty good about it. I think he's got just enough bat that he'll be able to carry his very, very flexible glove. Just so anywhere we might need him. I'm just going to copy this over. Now, I do notice a couple of interesting facts about our lineup. The first is it's very right-handed. We only have one left-hander in a prominent role, and we don't have any lefties off the bench. At the moment, that doesn't concern me, but as the season develops, that may be something we look to changing. Getting someone to replace Turner, perhaps, or something of that nature. We do have Aguinaga hanging out in the minor leagues, ready for us to. If we do need that left-handed bat, we have Aguinaga available, as well as some other players. The other interesting question is going to be what happens when Freddie Suarez is healthy again. He's still my shortstop. There's no debate about that in my eyes. He is our starting shortstop. Which means either Arevalo or Miller has to go, and it'll probably be Arevalo in all honesty. If that's my choice I'm making, I'm picking that. We could also decide after a few weeks to get rid of Castro, but I don't want to. Yeah, Castro's going to open the day on the roster, but he may not be there for long. All right, my friends, let's advance to opening day. No thrilling rookies made the 40-man. You would give me the Willie Cortez? No. I'm really curious to see how Sean Hill does. Because I think he'll do better. I think I basically sold really low on him, but I should have probably let him leave in free agency. I have a tendency to overvalue the guys I've already got, and that can definitely be a concern. Do I have any kind of decent minor league system here? I'm 17th. That doesn't surprise me. I haven't gotten a high pick in a while. And I don't want one. I'd rather just be good all the time. Yeah. Other than Pagan for Hill, this is basic. Pagan for Hill and Arevalo for Sanchez. It's basically last year's lineup, but just in a different order. Which is very good news. Is there anything else I want to do before the end of this episode? I don't think so. I'm going to take a really quick look and see if there's any... Oh, I wanted to make sure I shortlisted Hill. I'm definitely going to shortlist you. Okay, I already did. Good. And then I want to take a look at contracts and just see who might be out at the end of the season. If there's anybody I want to try to lock up earlier. Espino, I am not giving him an extension until I see what he can actually accomplish. If he has a great season, amazing. If he doesn't, I'm not bringing him back. That's as easy as that. Do I want to try to lock up Joe long term? I mean, as long as he asks for less than 10 million, he generally produces around 2 to 3 WAR. So I don't mind locking him up if he doesn't want a huge amount of money. But looks like he wants to get a 1-year deal. I can respect that. I like Munoz a lot. If he wants a giant contract, I don't think I'll give him one. But I will definitely keep him through at least a couple of arbitration years. I can't get rid of him now. I can't afford to lose a left field. I can't afford to lose a left-handed hitting bat. I don't mind the idea of keeping Pagan long-term also, but I want to see how he actually does. But I feel like we've got a lot of stability. And I don't see anybody here that I'm like, we need to get rid of them. Our rotation is skewing old, but it's skewing old for a good reason, which is very specifically that we have We brought in a very high-priced mercenary, basically, to try to get us over the hump there. Didn't Nate Sinclair picture me at one point, or am I thinking of someone else? I'm probably thinking of someone else. Yeah, he was on Cleveland for a very long time, and then it looks like he's jumped over to Jacksonville for the last few seasons, but now he's a Pirate. Cool. Gresham could opt out of this contract. I wouldn't really care if he did, though. Like, as useful as he's been, I don't see a huge amount of rush to get rid of him. I should never have given you that big contract, Hill. I'm sorry. I apologize profusely to you. We got a lot of really good years out of you. You were a very productive player. And I do wish you well with the Blue Jays, whether you believe me or not. All right, my friends. That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you are enjoying the series. We're still trying to break that all-time world championship record, which would be 8. 7 to match Casey Stengel and Joe McCarthy, and 8 to blow past him. And we're currently sitting on 6, I believe. No, we have 5. Because the one doesn't count. The one is just the World Baseball Cup, or World Cup of Baseball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 World Series. We're going to keep going, though. We need to be the greatest manager in baseball history. All right. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been Guardian, and I bid you a very good day.